Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another live stream. We're here. Brand new. Wait, whoa. How about that? That should be much better. Sorry, it might have been peaking there. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. My camera has been messing up here, so you may not see me, but hopefully you can hear me. I was doing some swapping around and it messed up. Let's see. Give me 1 second. I'm not talking at the moment here, folks. I'm trying to get my camera working because it stopped working. Make sure it's all working. Okay, there we go. We should be good to go now. Sorry about that, folks. A little issue. Heck of a candle for the news here this morning. If you were there, I knew we had news, but I wasn't paying attention. I sat down. I was looking at it. I'm like, oh, the candles are relatively small. And then I come back, and the candle on my screen, I mean, it looked like this. So I was looking at the chart like this, and I was watching here, and I'm like, okay, we could come up here. We could probably sweep these lows. Completely forgot about news. I walk away and come back, and I see this giant candle. Oh my gosh. My boys are like, Dad, how much money could you have made? I'm like, if I was doing like a full contract, like a couple $1,000. Oh man, that would have been awesome. I'm like, yeah, but I could have lost that if I was going the other way too. This is why we don't trade it. We don't mess around with that kind of stuff here, folks. We aren't gamblers. We aren't degenerates. We have a strategy. We put a strategy in place, and we trade it. Okay. With that being said, let's bump out to the higher time frame, and let's see what we got. We got 5 minutes here. So my bias is bearish. Okay. Why is my bias bearish? It is because of this candle right here. We closed red and we closed inside of the range. Okay. So I'm going to look for lower price action. Now, what I wanted to see was a 4-hour candle sweep the high. There it is right here. This 4-hour candle swept the high. And I want also that to be in line with my bias. So the daily and the 4-hour as of right now are in line with each other. And we have ran into this daily fair value gap. So do we find support here and consolidate here, or do we move lower? Next thing I want to look for is the hourly. Do we have confluences for lower price action in the hourly? In this case, let me get rid of that box. And the answer is yes. We have that same sweep of liquidity. The 4-hour and the 1-hour also overlap with each other. So my bias is short. My narrative now, unfortunately, due to news, is a little messed up because we already ran the previous day low. We've already ran into the daily fair value gap, and we've already wicked into this hourly fair value gap, which also is in line with the previous all-time highs right here. So where do we go from here? We have liquidity way down here. Do we really think that we're just going to run all the way there? That's 300 points. 300 points. So I'm not going to try to limit where I think price could go. My goal is to find a proper opportunity that could potentially pay me. Okay, I don't need 200 points. I would love to get 100 points, but if I don't, I don't. So we got 3 minutes till the market opens. We've already ran the previous high, previous day low. We do have an opening range gap. If we go to the 15-minute time frame, we'll go down to 415 right here. There it is, and we will drag this right there to give us our opening range gap. Okay, so in the daily time frame, I expect some type of reaction. This could absolutely happen. Okay, this is a 4-hour and 1-hour sweep of liquidity. I could see us coming back up here, sweeping this again, still before 10 o'clock, and then running lower. That is a real possibility. That would because the 4-hour candle is literally 4 hours long. So there's some possibilities in that. So we could see price retrace back up into here. My first level of resistance is going to be previous day low, but we can keep an eye on that. So right off the bat, I think those are my. I need to move this and put that in here. Give me a second, folks. I'm probably going to take a long here.
Order submitted.
It's going to be really loud here just for the initial pump. See if we get a push higher. I'm going to sell.
Submitted.
All right. Sell there for that initial push. That was our 930 model. You can get rid of that sound. Honestly, I've gotten annoyed with the sound, so I've decided to get rid of the sound and just notify you guys when I'm taking a trade. My win rate is 200%. Why is my everything so loud? Okay. All right. I think I'm fully set here, folks. We're going to get settled here. Say hello. I haven't even done anything. I haven't even done my proper opening. All right. Let's open in prayer. I think it's time to open in prayer. Father, we just honor you this morning. A little hectic, a little off the tilter here. And Father, we just honor you this morning. We just quiet ourselves, quiet our minds, or I do at least. And Father, we just commit ourselves to you this morning. Lord, we ask for your wisdom today as we watch the market. Give us understanding of the market. Give us insight on and wisdom when to engage the market, Father. Father, we thank you that provision comes from your hand and your hand alone. We honor you in everything we say and do. In Jesus' name, amen. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. With the new school routine, it's a little off right now. I just got back right before the opening, or before 9:15 after dropping my son off school. So routines are gonna get situated here a little bit more as time goes on, but here we are with the hourly drop right here, and then we have the 8 a.m. candle right here. I think we do something like this, move up to there, and then let's see if we can get a continuation. I'm not interested in longs. I'm not going to be going long today. If it goes long and it goes higher, I'm not going to take a trade. I'm only going to look for shorts, look for moves to the downside, and that's what I want to see set up. With that in mind, we can use London low as a point of resistance. London low now turns into a breaker. Okay, so this is a breaker on the hourly time frame. We have our high, low, higher high. We've broken lower. We want to see it come up into this area. Now, if we drop down to the 15-minute time frame, does that overlap with anything? Well, we still just have this large candle that we're working in. And I don't like large candles because it tends to do this inside there. So I'm going to refrain from trying to trade anything to the upside except for the 930 model, which I'm done with that. We got 20 points on that. No, I got 10 points on that trade. Just 10. It's just a quick 10 handle trade. And we're going to wait and see if anything formulates. So my bias is short. So the next thing I need to come up with for my plan before I consider taking any type of trade is going to be the narrative. How do I think price is going to move lower? Where do I see it? And at that point, do I want to engage the market based on the narrative I think is going to take place? So the narrative right now potentially could be this breaker, but I'm not a fan of this giant fair value gap. Even if we go down to the 5-minute time frame, this is huge. I'm not interested in trying to pick where in this fair value gap are we going to stop. So I'm probably not going to engage the market at this breaker. What we could see though is a reaction here and then a continuation higher. That wouldn't surprise me. We'll see if it engages here. We'll see if we get some type of reaction. And if not, and it just pushes higher, this is why. Because of this giant candle. I really don't want to do that. What we can also look for is this is a data high. This data high is the reason why I think we could run back up to this level and then move lower, because we have a wick. The data high here is a target. We don't have an inversion to the upside that is effective right now. You could, somebody may have taken this here, this inversion right there. I'm not interested in that. I'm going to let the market work itself out, and if it wants to run straight to that data high, sure, that's fine. It's inside a potential narrative that I have of prices moving lower. So right now the narrative bias is lower. And the narrative is we come up to the data high, find some resistance, and we look for an opportunity there. Depending on how quickly it gets there could determine how effective that move and opportunity would be. So I think that's the plan for right now. When we look at ES is at all-time highs. We've dipped into the 4-hour fair value gap as well on ES. Yeah, I don't see us... If we decide we want to move higher, it could be up into somewhere in this range here. Somewhere like high, low, higher, high. We could be in this range, the 24,000 range. That wouldn't surprise me. But we're going to see what the market wants to do here. I'm not interested in longs. I'm not looking at going higher. Even though we have a data high, a draw on liquidity, I'm going to wait because my bias is to the downside. Now, what does that mean? It means that at 10 and 11, if we don't get a downside move, then that means that it could be in the PM session. It also means we may not get a downside move because I'm wrong. But I'll tell you that what I've seen in the past in me coming up with my narrative is my narrative, I would say I'm 75 to 80% right. That many, 80% of the time I'm right. Where I'm wrong is the timing of when that narrative plays out. I thought, oh, it has to be 10 a.m., 11 a.m., noon, 1, and then it would be 2 or 3 o'clock that we make the move. So if you don't get your move during the time frame that you want, doesn't mean that your narrative is wrong. It just might not be the time. So if you're going to commit to a plan, which we've been talking this week about making a plan and then sticking with the plan, then that means you got to believe in yourself enough in your analysis that, hey, this could be it could be later in the day. Now, there are times that you may see something in the market that changes your perspective, and that might change your narrative. That might change the narrative you want to play out. Maybe you hit a key level sooner than you thought. Then you're going to have to come up with a new narrative on what price may want to do and reevaluate. And that's totally fine to do, but just don't be so quick to change your narrative because, well, it's been going up all morning, so I must have been wrong. You might not be. You might not be. It just might be delaying when that move is actually going to take place. So, just some thoughts for you guys on that. 4 hour here. Let's see. Let's jump up to the 15-minute for right now. So, let me give you an idea of something that may work out that I probably still am not going to take. Is if we get a breaker right here, where this comes up and gives me a BPR, that's going to be really hard to ignore because that's going to be a very bullish scenario. It would have to get up here in the next 5 minutes, and I'm hoping it doesn't. Because then I'm going to have to really say this is an aggressive drop followed by an aggressive push higher. Are we looking at moving higher again? That's a real possibility because I consider this the consolidation, this manipulation, and then you could see expansion. But if the longer we take in here, the more I like a downside move. So far it's not going slowly. It's going pretty quickly here. What's up, All Set? Good morning. I haven't said hi to anybody. Let's go start at the top. Marcus, good morning. John Taven, good morning. Georgia boys, good morning. Nicolo, Jason, good morning. Larry, Mr. Chaser, DJ, Mr. Andy, good morning. Steve, good morning. Glad to have you. Miss John, good morning. Hopefully volume is better now. Ken, good morning. Kelpie Ventures. Patel, good morning. DM, Matthew. Vintage Trader, good morning. Oscar, is it Oscar or Oscar? I'm just Oscar. Garth, Geyser, Headstone Classic Productions, good morning. Plumix, good morning. Lawrence, how you doing? Jeff, good morning. Good morning. Okay. I got all my accounts set up. I'm just making sure I'm not missing anything because I'm not flustered, but just a little bit behind and just want to make sure I'm focused and intentional here. So we have our data high that's sitting right here. We're going to pay attention to that. I don't think I'm going to trade inside this range right here. I don't think I'm going to do that because of the data candle. I want to get outside of that right now. This is the 4-hour candle right here. Did we fill the opening range gap? Yes, we're filling the opening range gap right now. And then I have not marked out 930. Let's mark out 930 here. These are all the things I prefer to do right in the morning when I'm not trying to get my camera working. Mike, I don't actually talk about the 930 model. I'll trade it, but when I first opened the Purpose Driven Trader Academy, it was one of the things in that I taught inside the Purpose Driven Trader Academy, and to honor those that said yes, I want to go on that journey with you. I kept it in there for those individuals that want to make that journey with me. So if you're interested in the 930 model, it works about 60-70% of the time. It's really effective, especially shorts. I really love taking shorts on that. But the idea behind the 930 model is to give a trading system to traders that they can trade, get the itch for taking a trade, and then learn to be patient and wait. Because the trading journey is a very long journey, and I wanted to come up with a easy model that it's brainless. It's brainless. It's a set of like 4 or 5 rules that when they take place, you take the trade. I mean, it's just, you don't even think about it. You just do it, you execute. There's no extra analysis needed. And it has a win rate of 60 to 70% of the time. And it's designed so that people can take those quick trades and then take their hands off and then really learn, commit to the learning process and not feel like they have to click the button because they're itching to take a trade. Get the trade out in a way that's effective and it has a good win rate. And then now let's set that itch aside and let's really focus on our education, reading price action, learning to sit on our hands, not taking trades. And that's what it's designed for. No, BC, what the 50% was is a pump and dump. So the pump and dump is, and I've shared that on stream, is if the 930 candle, if we get multiple green candles or red candles in a row, to me that's a pump right off the open. I started testing fair value gaps right off the open. And the 930, I've shared this one with people and I'll share it again. The 931 fair value gap is phenomenal. It has like a 60% win rate. And when we got, let's say, 930, 931, 932, 933, we drop into the 931 candle. It's like a 60% win rate and it's awesome. I'll take that. I'll probably take that every time from the back testing that I have done. But this is completely different, the 930 model that I'm referring to. I like the idea of taking trades right at 930, if you can tell, because it's like, hey, if I could get all my trades, if I could master the market in the first 5 minutes, how nice would that be? Be done the rest of the day? I think that's possible. Give it enough time. Give me 3 years of watching the market and testing different things. I probably can come up with a couple different things that could cover all the trading that I'd want to do in the first 15 minutes. I probably could come up with something. BC, can you no, it's if you want to learn the 930 model, it's one of the videos in the course that I have. And then I've refined it and I've shared those things in the Discord. There's a whole strategy and backtesting channel in there that I'll add things that I'm backtesting on. I'm going back through the 930, 31, and 32 fair value gaps and grouping them together and doing a back test on that right now. I haven't shared that in the Discord yet because I haven't gotten the results that I wanted. I've done other tests that just gave poor results, so I haven't shared those. Now that I'm verbally saying this, I think it would be a good idea to actually share some of those in the Discord so that people know that, hey, this was back tested and it was tried and it sucks. So don't try it yourself. That's kind of what my hope is that the Discord turns into as it continues to grow. The community builds and people are back testing and sharing their findings, and other people can back test and share their findings. And so as we continue to grow, it's going to do that. Everything here is fairly new as far as what I've put together. We're still under a year. Jack, the Discord is part of the Purpose Driven Trader Academy. So if you pay for the course, the Purpose Driven Trader Academy, the Discord comes with it. There's no monthly subscription. There's no annual fee. It's just included, and it's a one-time cost. So we're sitting here still waiting. I'm glad we're waiting. If you look how price is kind of just lethargic right now, I'm going to move this over here. I'm done with that, but I'm just going to have it set here so I know. So far, the idea that I've shared of here coming back, sweeping this high, it's still in the works. It's still, I think, a possibility. But like I said, I'm not interested in longs. This is the weekly time frame. We're on a Thursday. So we have Thursday and then Friday for news, or Thursday and Friday to finish the week off. This was a very bullish candle. We did make a high. I think our high is set. A high was put in on Wednesday. I think that's going to be set, or that's how I want to see it. So we probably are going to play in this range here. From a daily perspective, I think we could end up hanging around this daily fair value gap. I think that's a possibility, is to hang around that daily fair value gap, hourly fair value gap. If this closes like this, the 4 hour, if we close a full-bodied candle above here, if we're closing above here, my bias might need to change. You can't ignore that giant wick, especially after it closes. And if it's going to close here in 7 minutes, we'll see where it is in 7 minutes, and we'll have to reevaluate, because this could be the manipulation for another move. Before the news candle, my bias was, because I sat down before news, that I wanted it to come up and hit the 4 hour fair value gap right here, and then I wanted to see lower prices. Well, we did that, but we moved so quickly lower that if we close back up here, I can't ignore it. I'm going to have to reevaluate. I'm not sitting here changing my bias. I'm saying that the 4 hour candle is something that I'm going to have to consider in my analysis. And that can't be considered until after it closes, right? If we get displacement lower and it closes red, then my whole narrative for lower prices still is in play. Does that make sense? So I like this reaction we're getting right now. That's beautiful. I really like that. I would love to see it continue. That would be enough for me to keep my bias. But if we're going to stay up here, we're going to close green on that 4 hour candle, I can't ignore it. And the one thing I've learned is don't bet against all-time highs. I have learned that the hard way. Don't bet against all-time highs. Courage, the answer is you don't trade the news. That's how you trade the news. Keep your account at 0. Today, I unfortunately do not have a daily affirmation today. I'm a little disappointed. My day just got ahead of me. It did. So what do I want right here? I want us to close back down. I want us to reach down to this 5 minute. At 10 o'clock, I want us to run this high And from here, I want to look for shorts. That's what I want to do. Did you say what? I mean, I probably can come up with one. It's just not going to be as thoughtful. Give me a minute. Let's see if I can do it. Hi, Alice. How are you? Nice job, Michael. Yeah, I'm looking right now, Jason. Sorry. I didn't realize that I'd get that kind of reaction. I'll get one. I'm going to have to use the help of some external resources today. Okay, I want this to look like this. I want that candle to look like this. This is where I want it to close. If my bias is going to stay this way, I do not want it to close above this London high. I do not want it to close above this. Once we do this, then I'm okay with aggression higher to induce buys. That's when I want to see buys come in. Be aggressive right after 10 o'clock. I don't care. Because that's going to create buyers to want to go long. As soon as we sweep these highs, then I want to look at going short. What's up, Viking? How you doing? Shift. Whoops. If I click it too much, it makes that. So that's how you do it. Hold shift. All right, 765. We are closing below the London high. I really didn't want it to be green. So I really would have preferred it to stay either completely doji or red in this case. We'll keep our analysis the same. We're just going to be cautious. We're going to probably have to wait for extra confirmation to make sure that we are getting this move instead of something like this. That I don't want to get caught in that. So I do want to see the higher high here. I want to see the data high ran. If you want to take a small scalp trade, you could take this right there long. If we get an aggressive candle, not a tick, 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 tick close above, but an aggressive candle, it closes with confidence. You could take that to the data high most likely. That would be 15, 16 handles. That's not a bad move. All right, once we hit 75 likes, we will do the daily affirmation. I think I got it. The nice thing about having multiple screens is I can do so many different things at one time. It's not recommended for trading. Really, you should be doing one thing. Well, that was fast. Maybe we're going to have to increase it now that we got more people joining. Can we hit 100? We're 8 likes away. Can we hit 100? Good morning, Michael. Yeah, I mean, I thought about that, BC. The only thing I don't like, I mean, two things I like and I don't like. I like that we haven't tagged the 5-minute fair value gap. So that concept of hitting this and then moving higher is attractive. We also have relatively equal lows here that makes that attractive. So I totally get that, especially with London high being right here. The tag of that, I could see this playing out right there. The thing that I don't like is that we made equal highs here, and I look at this data high as a higher draw on liquidity. But so to me, it's like a 50-50. That's exactly what you're saying. It's risky, right? Boom, boom, or does it want to go boom, boom, right? So I'm going to sit. Oh, boom, 113. Okay, guys, it is time for the daily affirmation. Okay, why do we do this? And thank you for the little push, because it is that important to make sure we do this every day, because it gets our mind right. It gets us set. So to pose a question before we get there, my question for you, who is greater? Your obstacle or your God? That is what today's is based on. Which is greater, your obstacle or your God? Where's my screen share? It didn't come up. Let me get it here. Here we are. Today's affirmation. Based on 1 John chapter 4, verse 4, the one within me is greater than anything before me. I move forward with bold faith, unstoppable and fully backed by heaven. You need to remember who is in your corner, folks. The world is fallen. The world is going to try to smack you down. Circumstances are going to tell you you don't and will not amount to anything. But you must remember that if he is for you, who can be against you? Greater is the one within you. Man, you carry, if you're filled with the Holy Spirit, you got this. If not, my encouragement is to say for you to go, wow, I can have him living inside me. You're missing out if you don't. If you haven't given your life to Christ, you're missing out on a whole new world of being led by the Lord, having the confidence that he is with you and he is for you. And even if you haven't made that decision, he's for you, but you have to make that commitment to him. You have to make that commitment to him to get the benefit of the kingdom of God in your life. You have to become a citizen of that kingdom to be able to get the benefits of that kingdom. Like a U.S. citizen. A U.S. citizen has better benefits than an illegal immigrant. Right now, what's happening to all those illegal immigrants? What's happening? All those illegal immigrants are hiding inside their houses. I think we as citizens have a little more confidence to walk outside, right? If you're a part of the kingdom of heaven, you walk differently. There's a lot of people a part of the kingdom of heaven that don't walk differently because they don't realize the enemy has done a good job to get them to believe that their God doesn't love them, that he's going to, punish you if you do wrong things. That's not God. That's not his heart. That's the enemy lying to you. So my hope through this channel is to help you realize that greater is he who is in you than he that is in the world. He that is in the world is the devil. He that is in the world is referring to the enemy. And if the one greater is in you, man, nothing can stop you. Yes, you're going to have obstacles, but your mindset, the way you view the world, will change. So, for those that haven't given their lives to Christ, I implore you to give your life to the Lord. It's as simple as, Lord, I want to invite you into my heart today. Say yes to him. And it's going to be different. It's going to be different. Full benefit. All right, see how we're consolidating here? Okay, this is where I'd make so many mistakes. I'm like, oh wow, we aggressive and we displaced. I'm gonna look for a short. I'm not. I need to wait for a sweep of liquidity. We haven't gotten any sweeps. Now, if we sweep down into this 5 minute, we find the previous day low as support, that's gonna be a beautiful long to the data high. Okay? Not gonna lie, that looks great. You could take a quick scalp. That's a plan modification that's worth considering because that is a point of interest that will need to be grabbed, in my opinion. There's no way we stop that close and run away from it and not touch it. I like the idea of coming up close to it because what does this make now? It makes this have liquidity above it. We now have stops sitting above this. All these people are going short here going, oh yeah, look at that. There's support here or resistance here. Let's go short. These candles are inducing more shorts. Okay? They're inducing more shorts. So what could happen? Sweep of small liquidity, an aggressive move to all of the stops that are sitting right there. All the stops that are sitting right here, I think are going to be grabbed after it reaches here, sweeping this liquidity, and then running that direction. That's what I would anticipate right now. Reason why I'm not trading is because it could happen this move could happen right now. It doesn't have to drop here. That's what I want to happen. If it does, I may consider taking that long. But right now, my plan still is sweep of liquidity, look for shorts. Alice, I do watch SMTs. There is an indicator that I had switched off because I was doing some back testing. Here are the indicators that I use on a daily basis. And the one that has SMTs is this one right here, ICT SMT FODI. And that will tell me if there's SMTs or not. So right now it's giving us that there was an SMT right here on ES and NQ. I'm not interested in that SMT because this is just consolidating. I need the SMT to line up with liquidity. There's no liquidity being grabbed in that candle, so I'm not interested in it. As iron sharpens iron, so does one man sharpens another. Amen. For those of you that put your plan together, let's follow it today. For those of you that said, I know one of you said only 3 trades. So make sure you're not taking more than what your plan is as far as the number of trades. Don't overtrade. What's your method for taking multiple take profits? I'm using Trade Locker and I'm not sure how to do that. Would I just place one order, then take multiple profits at each TP, or place multiple orders? Either's fine. You can do either. Like if you're executing on TradingView, if I was to go to, I'm going to put it on a paper trade here so I can show you. So if I was to go short right here, 2 contracts, I can do one take profit here, and then I could do another one right here, right? I could do stop loss here, and I could overlap my stop losses. You can do it one by one. That's the easiest way, I'd probably say, where if the market's not moving. The other thing would be if you do your executions on TradeView, which I do. TradeView offers a little feature right here where you can do bracket orders. And so when I do an entry, let's say for 1 micro or whatever it is, it will give me here. I'm gonna do a quick one, for example. So if we were to go short, no, let me exit out of that. If I was to do a 10-point stop loss and I do, right, let's just say I go long right here. See how it put in the bracket orders? Now if I put another one on, there's another set of bracket orders. So it does it together, but that's just for 10 handles specifically. So I'm going to get out of that. When you do that separate placement, though, you have to remember to remove the stop losses in your profit levels, your TP levels, because if you don't, it could trigger it later on. Gabriel, I did not walk away yesterday after making $1,000 and had a $500. You had $500 to pass the evaluation, and then you ended up blowing the account. So Gabriel, I'm only reading this out loud, not to point fingers, but use this as an opportunity, because sometimes it's the pain that gets us to actually follow the rules, which would have been, now that it's happened, you obviously know the correct answer. But the rules save us from those types of situations. It's so hard to do it, but it's more valuable for you to follow your rule than it is for you to pass the account. Because if you pass the account, you're not going to learn the lesson on your funded account, and you're going to end up blowing your funded account. So follow the rules on the eval so that you can follow the rules on your funded account and not blow the funded account. Guys, do you know how long the average person holds a funded account? The average person holds a funded account for 3 days. The average person holds a funded account 3 days before they blow it. My max is, I think it was 82 days. My max was 82 days, and then I ended up blowing that account. So learning to hold trade, or learning to put these risk parameters are so important, because there's always another day. There'll always be another trade. There'll always be another opportunity. The odds, guys, the odds are against us. The odds, the statistics are against us. So if we just do it our own way, the probabilities are against us that we're going to fail. The only way I know how to beat the odds is to do the things nobody else wants to do. If a majority of people aren't following a plan, I need to follow a plan. If a majority of people are not managing their risk, I need to manage my risk. If a majority of people are averaging down to get a better position and hoping to get back into the green, I probably shouldn't average down. I should probably cut my losses instead. Whatever you see the majority of people doing means I need to do the opposite. I need to do the opposite, because the odds are against us. But greater is He who is in us. What does that mean? That means you can do it. You can follow your rules, because God will empower you to do it. He gives us the grace to do it. He's not just going to wave a magic wand and, let you get the money you want to get. No, it doesn't work that way. He cares about our character. He cares about our personal development, us becoming more like Christ. If Christ was patient, if Christ was content, then I need to be. If He wasn't jealous, if He wasn't envious, if he wasn't all these things, well, then that's what the Lord wants me to be. Well, those characteristics show up in our trading every single day. Is a funded account even worth it? Yes, it's worth it. The same people that are doing the funded accounts and blowing their accounts in 3 days are blowing their personal accounts. It's not about whether it's a funded account or a personal account. It's about the person actually doing it. This is a character development, guys. If you're in the trading industry, if you're in this industry, you're saying, even though you're not saying it, you're saying, I want to develop my character. I want to develop who I am as a person. Because if you don't, you will fail. If you don't, you will blow your accounts. The only way to see progress in your trading is if you're willing to look at yourself in a mirror, find the things that aren't good, find the things that need to change, and then do everything in your power by the grace of God to change those things. Because if you don't, you might as well stop now. You might as well give up now. Quit. But the problem is if you quit, you're just reinforcing that same character by quitting. You're gonna go up this mountain. You're gonna come around this test again in another area of your life. Might not be trading. Could be a job. It could be working with an employer that you don't like, that has having you do things. It could be doing something in your marriage. You're going to learn these lessons. The Lord wants to refine you and make you more like Him. So I said yes. I continually have to say yes, even though I'll fail at times. I'll repent and get back on. But I've said I'm going to allow my character to be developed in this process, in day trading. So this drop right here, I'm not really going to do anything. I would look at it finding support here and moving higher. If it wants to drop all the way down here and move higher, that's fine. It's 10:22. Obviously, the move did not happen at 10 o'clock, right, folks? Remember what I said yesterday? Sometimes the move will happen at 10 o'clock, sometimes it doesn't. Well, this is one that it didn't happen at 10 o'clock. And if it didn't happen at 10 o'clock, it's not going to happen at 10:22. It's just not. So we're going to sit on our hands, wait for 10:45, and look for 11 a.m. macro to see if we get an opportunity. It may not be 11 o'clock either. It may not be 11 o'clock. But right now, I took one trade. Well, if you count the 2 test trades that I did for the gentleman about setting bracket orders, that would have been 2 trades. And by the way, those test trades were a little bit of a loss. I lost $20 on that. Probably shouldn't have done that. I just wanted to use the bracket orders to get my point across. That was a $20 lesson I taught you guys there. Ken, developing my character is the hardest part of trading. Whew. That's 100% the truth. 100%. We are in the business of personal mastery, personal development. And if you can master that process of personal development, you're going to see success in your trading. It's not for everyone because it is the hardest thing to do. My dad has admitted multiple times he doesn't want to change. I couldn't believe when I heard him say that. And he said it multiple times. He's like, this is who I am. I'm not going to change. He has decided he's set in his ways. That's not the heart of the Father. The Father wants us to become more like Him. If the Lord says for us to do it and He gives us His grace, then that tells me it's possible. And I've seen myself change. I've seen my wife change. But it's not easy, folks. Currently struggling with not knowing what God has in store for me for my career. How do you find out what that God had trading? How did you find out that God had trading for you? That's a great question. How do you say what's your name? It's not E-Sizzle. What's your name? And how old are you? If I can ask. Yeah, my dad says he's a believer, but I'm not convinced. Evan, 19 years old. Thank you, John. I appreciate it. The Teaching Us Fund. Okay, you're 19 years old. Let me tell you, I'll tell you a quick story about myself. I'm sitting here waiting, folks. I'm passing time because I'm waiting for the opportunity. When it does, guys, we're going to take this trade. We're going to take it. And we're going to win. I'm just hoping it's now while we're on stream. Okay, so when I was 19 years old, I got married right when I turned 20. Okay, so basically 19. I got married when I turned 20. And I've been married now for 18 years. But at 20 years old, I thought I had my life figured out. I thought I knew what the Lord wanted me to do. And when it didn't happen, I was irritated. I'm like, why can't I fulfill my calling at 20 years old, God? What's going on? Why isn't this happening? I thought it was supposed to work out this way. And from that point on, I went through a 7-year journey with my wife where we dealt with marriage issues for 7 years. 7 years of that. And then it was after that, and just recently, at the age of 38, I started feeling the Lord give me clarity on where He wanted me to be, what He wanted me to do. And that was 35 years old, I should say. I had a dream on my 35th birthday. And that dream led me to where I am right now. But I didn't get there except for the fact that I was desperate for the Lord to speak to me and desperate for the Lord to give me direction. I was fed up with where I was at, and I wanted something different. So at 19 years old, here's my encouragement to you, is if the Lord has spoken to you clearly on what you need to do, you need to obey. And that might not be trading. It might be something else. You need to be obedient. But if He hasn't, that's okay to explore this. It's okay to explore something else. But my encouragement is whatever you're going to explore, do it with excellence. Don't do it. I use this expression, and forgive me, but I do say this. Don't do it half-ass. And I say it that way because it gets the point across. If you're going to do something, you go all in. We do that because we do everything we can with excellence. We do everything with excellence. Now, when the Lord calls you somewhere else, then it's time to say, okay, let's set this aside, Lord. I just had this conversation with my son. He loves doing so many different things. I just had this conversation with him this morning. He loves football. He loves basketball. He loves band. Well, when you get into high school, you can't do all those. Your time just can't handle all of it. So my answer to him was, you have to bring all these things before the Lord and say, Lord, I love this, 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 and this. But what do you have for me? I want to go this direction, God, but I would rather be obedient to you. So I'm going to listen to what your heart is and wait for an answer. Sometimes the Lord will direct. I told him there's a difference between you going, God, I really want to do this. Please tell me yes. That's on one hand, compared to, God, I really love this, but I would rather be obedient to you. So where do you have me? And being led by peace. And my answer, all of that to you, Evan, is be led by peace. If you feel uncomfortable, if it doesn't feel right, it just feels weird. Sometimes weird is not right. That's what that is. You need to acknowledge that and say, okay, Lord, are you asking me to stop trading? If peace follows that question, the answer is yes. If you're still feeling off and something's weird, then you need to go deeper and ask the Lord, I'm not getting this. What is it? And you need to look back at your life. What's going on? What's happening? What are you trying to tell me? What is this building? It's building a relationship with the Lord. And that's what's most important, is that you are learning to follow his voice, learning to walk with him day by day, learning to hear him in the midst of all of the chaos, all of the desires, all the loud noises that are saying, go this way. But then he speaks in a still small voice. All right, folks, finally, we just hit the data highs. Look how long that took. It's 10:31. We got 15 minutes before the end of the hour, or towards the macro. So now that we've hit this, I'm now watching, where do we go over the next 15 minutes? Over the next 15 minutes, does the market move higher and then we find support at that the previous day midpoint? Are we going to go back into the range? That's what I'm looking for over the next 15 minutes. I'm not looking to take a trade right here. I'm looking what the data high level tells me. It was a level that said, hey, once we hit this level, I'm going to start paying attention level. That's what that means. So now that we've hit that level, let's just say I was not on my chart, I would have set an alarm at this level to say, ding, 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 Tyler, take a look at the charts, because it's hit an area of interest that something could happen. It doesn't mean it will happen, but something could happen, and now we need to pay attention. So, Evan, that's my encouragement to you. Be led by the peace of God. If you have peace, continue in the direction. There's a difference between peace and just being complacent and not really trying to achieve anything in your life. A lot of people turn into couch potatoes, don't do anything with their life. They have the spirit of laziness. I've had to repent of that, by the way. I've had to repent of the spirit of laziness. Let's go out to the 15-minute time frame here. Here's what that 15-minute time frame looks like. If we continue, guys, honestly, to do a slow grind higher like this, we may not take a trade this morning. I'm hoping that's not the case. But the other thing is, if you look left right here, look at these levels here. This is a breaker right here. That's a breaker. So let's pay attention to that. Let's see if we reach for that. We reach fill this 4-hour inversion. Is this an inversion? No, this is yeah, this is an inversion right here. On the 1 hour, it looks better probably. Yeah, look at that. All right, so let's mark this 1 hour fair value gap. I think I like that better. All right, let's see how we interact with these levels here. So what are the levels that I'm watching? I'm watching on a higher time frame, the 4-hour, on a higher time frame, the 1 hour, and on a lower time frame, the breaker. How do we interact with these? Okay? Do we find resistance? Do we see wicks forming and price coming back into the range? Do we see it slowly flattening out? Do we start getting displacement to the downside? That's ultimately what we're looking for right now. You bet, Evan. Okay. Oh, that was funny. Is it Kino? Kino, that was funny. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Is it a sin to smoke? No, it is not. Is it bad for your body? Yes, it is. So if you want to look at not taking care of your body and being a good steward of taking care of the temple the Lord has given you, then yes, that could be viewed as a sin if you're feeling convicted by it. But I know believers that are smokers. Are they on fire for God? I would say no. I think there's a difference between somebody giving their life to Christ and the process of sanctification. So somebody can be saved and then they're going through the sanctification process. And that sanctification process can take a very long, you do it your entire life. And some of those would say, I'm willing to be sanctified, but this area right here, I'm not, I'm going to keep this to myself, right? There will be a point in time, in my opinion, that the Lord will put his finger on that area and say, all right, I've given you time. You've developed in these other areas, but now we got to break this stronghold here. $9:37, or excuse me, I'm in Central Time, by the way, if you haven't figured that out. 10:37. Also, when you look left, look at this left, guys. Look at all this consolidation right here. Something has to happen from this. And I'm not going to lie, it does look bullish. It really does. What I think we could take the trade, the idea for a short is still here, but I think that if I'm going to take a short, I think I'm going to have to close it around the 5-minute fair value gap here, which is still a solid trade. I mean, that's still 80 handles. So if an opportunity for a short presents itself, it's probably, for me, going to end up closing around that 5-minute fair value gap. I'm just, as price is developing, it's becoming more bullish. And I absolutely could see, because right here with this sweep of liquidity, or right here breaking this high, it's inducing buyers right now. It's inducing buyers to go long. People are thinking, wow, we had this huge drop and now we're coming this way. Well, I'm going to go long. So what does price want to do? Price would run the other direction to put those buyers in pain. And then after a retracement, then break further. That's how I would see it. We may not get that, but this is as far as where I'm focused right now. Because my narrative was lower, it would have to still respect this breaker 4 hour and 1 hour in the 11 o'clock macro, and then take that trade right here to the 5-minute. That's still, it's a nice 80 handles, 100 handles. So there's definitely some points we could get on it. Even if we're wrong in the direction, we can still, even if it's going to end up here, we can still profit on this right here. Now, the downside to sticking with a bearish bias and being wrong is that we may not get that move. Maybe we get this move right here, and then we move higher. well, then I would have missed my opportunity, or even worse, potentially get stopped out thinking that it's going to go all the way down here and then it moves higher. So right now, the higher time frame from an hourly perspective is looking bullish. Before it was bearish. When we hit the data high and we dropped, I'm looking at bearish. But now that these two candles are here, because we've been patient, we didn't have to find out by taking losses. So I'm still interested in seeing if we can get the retracement. But I would say my bias is on the verge of changing. The other thing, though, and I'm verbally processing here, is there's only an 11% chance that since we've ran the previous day low, that we'll run this high. So are we bullish enough to hit that level? I'm going to say no. I'd want to say no. Or I want to bet against an 11% chance that we hit this high. It doesn't mean you can't take a long to, the wick, right? What I'm doing is breaking down this wick from premium and discount. So here's premium and here's discount for that wick. That's what that gray box is. So we could reach up into that wick and then move lower. That's how I would want to see it if it's going to go that way. But I'm still sticking with the short bias. Still sticking with the prices moving lower. If we look at ES, does that idea support itself here? We have a sweep of liquidity. We're probably going to have to sweep these 2 points here. So on ES, I'd want to see those two swept. Or if we get an SMT with just sweeping it on NQ and then we move lower, that would also be okay. All right, I'm going to get rid of this 4 hour. I know it's a 4 hour inversion, so I don't need it on my charts right here. It's just a lot. I can put that over here too. But even still, once we hit the data high, this is the data high. Look at the price action here. Look at all the wicks. This is what I want to stay out of. So I'm not even interested in taking a long from here. What I would be interested in is large displacement. Come back up to this level right around here. There's our breaker, and then take a short down to the 5 minute. I'm still interested in that. And I might even cut that short, because if you look at this price leg, here's 50% of that price leg. So if price wants to move higher, it may reach for the 50% of that price leg and then move higher. So if I'm going to take this trade, I want it to be above the 50%, and then I need to reevaluate on how we react around this level to see if we're going to continue lower or if it's going to move higher. So that's what we're doing. We're competing with all-time highs here. But my 30-minute clock starts now. I only have 30 minutes left before my rule tells me I have to stop trading. So if I don't get an opportunity that's clear and obvious based on my plan, then I'm not going to take a trade, and then I'll come back at 1 o'clock and take a look. But I would rather no setup right now, to be honest with you, because I'm kind of skeptical on the condition, And I would rather remain disciplined, not take a loss, and then maybe come back and see if the market looks better at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. We are exercising our muscle of not taking a trade right now. And it's a very important muscle that needs to be exercised. So before I get off the stream with you guys, I'm going to close my account and I'm going to lock it just so I don't go back after I get off stream and take any trades. Because that's how committed I want to be to this process of following a plan. And right now, it's looking like it wants to move higher. Even if we wanted to go long, there's no opportunity here. If we wanted to go long, you would want to see an aggressive push lower, stopping right around data highs, and then moving higher. When I started trading, there was a lot of things that happened in my life, in your environment, that made trading difficult. Do you think it is a sign for me to keep trading? I wish I could answer that for you, newbie gaming, but the answer has to be found in Christ. If you're feeling all those things and you bring it before the Lord and you feel peace about continuing, then you have your answer. If you continue to have the question while you're going through all that, then you need to ask, then that might be a sign from the Lord to say, all right, let's just put a pause on this for right now. That's what I've been talking about, Mohammed, is that we are competing against all-time highs. And I said that if I'm going to have my narrative for a short play out, we can't go past this breaker. So it was the 4 hour, 1 hour, and breaker that I was watching, and we've just blown past that. So I now have to scrap my bias idea. This also could just be manipulation, and we could get strong displacement right after that. But either way, I can't. I'm probably not going to take a trade. I hate saying that. Here's a breaker and a fair value gap. Let's take a look at this here. I don't even want to look at where it could resist. I feel like what I'm trying to do is go against all-time highs. So my bias and my idea, especially in the next 10 minutes, is going to be gone. The only way my bias could stay still intact is if we see this aggressive candle close below this breaker, below or in the 4 hour or the 1 hour. If we close above those things, we probably need to look for longs. But I'm not looking for a long because my bias was short. So now that I would have to change my bias, timing's not right. The timing is not on my side right now. And there really wasn't a clear entry. We didn't get a breaker. This was 9:30, so there wasn't any entry here. There really wasn't an entry here. There really wasn't an entry anywhere for a long either, guys. Do you see what I mean? Yeah, you could have just clicked the button. You could have bought a retracement on a random retracement candle, series of candles, and then hope that it continues higher. But as far as my model and entry model, there isn't one down here that's clear and obvious. because this was pre-market. Market opens right here. Let me show it another way. Here's regular trading hours. There's the gap. Let's get rid of that. Where would you say your entry would be in all this price action? I don't see one. Not one that's obvious. You could make something up. You could try to force an idea. That's the thing about trading. Don't force an idea. Let the trade idea come to you. Let it jump off the charts. And if you're like, well, Tyler, I struggle on seeing the obvious ones. Well, that means you need to do more back testing. That means you need to be looking at the pattern, that breaker more, that inversion more. You need to go and find it in the charts over and over. That's one of the things I've had people do in the homework. Who was it? Are you on the stream? Who was it? I'm drawing a blank on her name. She just did it. Let's see. Member trades. Just in time. She took a winning trade. Was it yesterday or the day before? She took a winning trade and she got it because she did the homework. Week two's homework. The week two's homework required her to identify inversion fair value gaps in different scenarios, which got her eye accustomed to identifying it. So it needs to be obvious enough for you to identify it, and you have to take the time to learn those strategies and those entry opportunities, and then let them come to you. Let them show up on the chart. But nothing here is popping off the chart saying, wow, we need to take that. What after about the second green wick just above the fair value gap? You talking about this one right here at 941? Is that what you're referring to? Jeff? About 10 o'clock. The problem is, the answer would have been yes if this candle came into this 5-minute fair value gap. Do you see how it made a higher low right there? I don't want that, because that tells me that's an opportunity for price to come back down and tag it. This is where BC took that short. BC took a short right here, anticipating it was going to run these levels. Well, it never did. It never did. But I would have looked at this as that's what I've been looking for. So if it came down into here and then went long, that would have been, I would say, there it is, folks. This was our opportunity right here. But it didn't even come down into the 5-minute. You see what I mean? So yeah, you could have taken it, but to me that's low probability, and these are the things we would want to stay away from. New 15-minute candle. We're putting in a, looks like a black candle here. We'll see if it keeps. We'll see if it keeps. We reached for this 15-minute fair value gap. That was right here. Really, really tiny. 5-minute, we do have a change in state of delivery on the 5-minute. I'm glad all this is happening before the 11 o'clock candle. That's going to be a big sign. We'll see where this, do we get a large wick? Because all of that is an indication that we might still be right. Let's go ahead back into electronic trading hours here. Here's that breaker that we still had. Price here is staying below that. The 15-minute candle. Look where that 15-minute candle closed, folks. Look where the 15-minute candle closed. So lower time frame breaker right here. Lower time frame fair value gap sitting right here. I will take this entry to the downside if we wick back up into there. That's going to be my entry. I'm willing to now look at this low right here. I'm not, if this is going to go straight down, then we're missing it. I need the retracement because it could so easily just run back up to this. This is Nasdaq. Look how this hourly is going to, 30 minutes going to close. This is the 30-minute candle right here. Because we're in an environment where it looks bullish, I'm going to wait for an additional confirmation. I'm not going to take it on the first entry right here. I'm going to wait for a 1-minute change in state of delivery after we get up to this area. So if we continue to print higher prices, I'm not getting in. I'm going to wait for it to close below a 1-minute fair value gap. Yes, it could require me to get a poor entry, but I do not want to be caught up in this. I don't keep Shabbat, but I participate in it. meaning I don't do all of the Jewish festivals, but we do. We just did that this summer with another family. We had dinner with them and went through everything. It did not hit the breaker, so I'm still waiting. I am forcing myself to be very patient here. All right, so we have a new candle. A new candle. I want to see an initial move higher and then the drop. There's still plenty of room down to this 5-minute. So I'm not going to try to force something here. We did just fill a 15-minute fair value gap on this candle, and hit a 15-minute order block. So we could literally just pump right back higher. That's what I'm trying to be careful about, is there are confluences and indications that price is moving that direction. So I'm looking for that extra confirmation so that I don't get in and it run against me. Think of it this way. Imagine you're putting 10 mini contracts onto the table for this trade. Do you want to, sometimes when we do small sizes, we kind of gamble with it because, it's only $20. It's only this much money. But I don't want to stay at that level. I want to get to 10. I want to be trading 10 to 20 minis. I want to get to that level. That's years from now. But I'm never going to get there if I can't treat a single micro, 5 micros in the same way. I would want to have that extra confirmation or be extra confident about a trade idea before I'm going to throw 10 mini contracts onto the table. Here's the midpoint right there. No, it's the other way around. A micro is 1/10 of a mini. I'm looking for this right here. This is what I want. That's what I want. Thanks, Jerry. I appreciate it, my friend. The worst thing that you can do, in my opinion, is when you see a big black candle like this, is to buy short right here. That's an impulsive entry. It's the fear of missing out. And then what happens if it does what it's doing right now? Wicks back up, and then what happened if it did that? I've taken so many of these, and it hurts so much. It's so frustrating. If I was going to take a trade and I was afraid it wasn't going to come up to this level, I should have bought it in the consolidation. Am I concerned it might run away from me? I am. But that's part of the mental game that's playing in my head or anybody's head when you're sitting here. Be patient. Follow the rules. It doesn't matter what's screaming at you. Let the trade play out. Pick what you want to see happen. If it happens, great. If it doesn't, reevaluate. Where's another opportunity if you're convinced it's not coming back to that? Well, the next opportunity would be a retracement lower or a move lower and then coming back up to somewhere around here. But it would have to move away from this level for me to change this idea still. One hour BISI is a 1 hour buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency. In other words, it's a fair value gap. It's a bullish fair value gap. None of these, DJ, none of these charge a monthly fee after you become funded. So you can use the code DTJ and it will give you the best discount that they're running. And then once you pass it, in fact, Take Profit Trader, if you get a payout, they'll give you your money back from the cost of the evaluation. So in essence, if you get a payout on one of your funded accounts, you'll get that account for free. They'll give you back the $100 you paid for it. The Take Profit Trader deal right now is the best deal on the market. 40% off, $100 for a 50K account, and you don't pay for when you pass it, you go straight to a funded account, and then if you get a payout without resetting it, they'll give you back your initial investment of $100. No, there is not a better deal right now. Look at the wicks right here on the 4 minute. I'm not liking the way that looks. If we can close below the 2 minute here, I may take this inversion to the downside. It's going to happen in the next 6 seconds if it does. So no. We also have an SMT right there. That's so disappointing. The only thing I can look back and say, all right, could I have done something different? Is consider, since the breaker was inside of this fair value gap, I could have considered taking the short inside of this fair value gap. That's the only thing I could consider. I'm still willing to take this 2 minute. That'd be 15 handles if we close below this 2 minute fair value gap. We still haven't ran that low. But I'm going to take a smaller side since we've already moved lower here. All right, so I'm going to take a quick short here. Let's see if it gives it to us. If we close above that 2 minute fair value gap, then we are wrong. Maybe I wasn't patient enough. 37. Because maybe it's going to come back up here. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I did. There it is right there. Basically looking for this 5 minute fair value gap right down here at 896. Five-minute fair value gap is our target. There'll be a 40-point move if we hit that target. So my time to be off the charts is now, meaning I will only liquidate a trade. I will not take anything else. Yeah, she actually couldn't trade prop firms. She blew all her accounts she tried. I'm deciding if I want to extend this because I think we're going to reach up to this breaker here. I think I want to do it. This is 30 points right there. I think we're going to come back up to the level I originally wanted. I hope not. Don't know if I want to go through all that. I can risk it. This is our first trade, Jack. Second trade. We took one right off the open. We did the 930 model, and now the market finally gave us an entry. Well, there's a potential that I forced that entry because I didn't want to miss the trade, but we'll see. I might move my stop loss down because I don't know if I want to take that 30 handle risk. If this was, you know, a larger size, would I be concerned about taking 30 handles of risk? I guess it depends on my account size. Yeah, those equal lows. Yeah, there's equal lows right here, but it left it, meaning what I see happen often is it'll come right below it, and then it'll give us a retracement to a key level, and then run those levels. So the thing that I have to be careful about is, yeah, I think I could hold it through here, but what if it just, you know, slightly wicks me out and then moves in my direction because I didn't give it enough room, right? How much is enough when I'm already 30 handles to get to where I think it could retrace to? Do you see what I'm saying? So that's the risk you're taking. Maybe it's get out of the position and wait, be more patient and wait for it to retrace up to that level, but then you risk it potentially not coming up to that level. So there's pros and cons that logically you just have to work through and figure out which one you want to take. We have to make a lower low here. If we don't, I probably will close my position. It has to push lower here. If it comes back up and takes what it just gave us, then I'm closing it. All right, so it did it sweep it or did it tag it? So it made equal lows now. We want to see it sweep it. There's the sweep, and now we want to see it close below it and aggressively move. I don't want it to come back. So I'm moving my stop to the top of that candle, because if it comes back, I just want to take a small loss. That's still 10 handles, folks. So that's 8 handles. That's 8 handles. I don't want it to come back up there, but I'd rather take that loss than something else. There's my target for one contract, and then we'll put another contract in case down here. I need to see another lower low. I don't want to just push this low, stop here, and then push higher. That's what I don't want. Come on, make that lower low. There we go. There we go. Come on. I think I'm going to take one contract off here. And then I'm going to set my stop to break even. And let this play out. My target is sitting right at the previous day low. If we start seeing tons of aggression, maybe we'll adjust it. $15-minute time frame. The 15-minute fair value gap is right here. This is where I think we're going to turn, to be honest. And if it melts right through this, great. Nobody could have predicted that, because I mean, this is a manipulation leg with bullish structure. So if it wants to run all the way down here, I mean, I'm not going to try to hold for that, because I just don't see that happening. So if I'm going to hold a trade, I need to see the structure on the higher time frame that can support that idea. I just don't see it even on this 4-hour, and the 4-hour takes a long time for that to close. The hourly closed back up here, so is it just going to make another black candle all the way down here? That seems really improbable. But it could wick lower and then close higher and leave a wick here. That looks more probable to me. That's why I'm not going to try to run for a lower move. I'll take the 52 handle win, whatever it's going to be. There's the 5-minute tag. I wanted just another push to the previous day low, right into that 5-minute. There we go. Woo! Folks, we waited I don't even care. I mean, yeah, it could drop like a rock right here. I don't care. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we get a reversal here. But, folks, we just did that. We just did that. Yeah, there's areas that we could improve, but we were patient. We waited 2 hours for a trade. Almost 2 hours for a trade. That's what I'm talking about. That feels good. That's 3 days in a row, folks. That's 3 days in a row. 3 winning days in a row. We're back from the 3-day loss last week. Exercising patience, making that our top priority right now. Following the plan, making that my top priority. And admittedly, I forgot all about this. Admittedly, I broke my plan yesterday and I took a trade later in that afternoon. It was a win, unfortunately. So it reinforced the idea of breaking my plan. But before I get off stream, I'm going to be locking my accounts because I'm being very intentional on making sure that we are following the plan, following the rules. I mean, think about it. As we continue to grow as traders, we'll eventually do 10 micros, 15 micros, 20 micros, doing the exact same thing we did today. And our profits grow. We don't have to take more trades to make more money. We don't have to do that. We just have to be disciplined and execute on the trade opportunities we're seeing. So, man, a lot of good things that came out of today. Our bias was short. My narrative was I wanted to see the data highs ran before I take the short. It went up a little higher. It scared me, as in we were going to miss the opportunity, and it started aggressively moving in our favor. Man, that feels wonderful. I've done this multiple times, but I'm not going to lie. Every time it's so cool. It's so cool when that happens. So, I do, BC. I record all my trades. This is being recorded right now. Yeah, I do. On all accounts, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, $1,200. Thank you, Greg. I appreciate it. We're going to call it a day here, folks. I am logging out. Logged out there. Logged out there. Let's see, what else do I need to do? And then I put this in... I put this in here. Does it work? If you haven't tried this, guys, Freedom. I have a program called Freedom. It just blocks apps and everything. If you want to block things for a certain period of time. So here's that site there. So what I can do is I literally will go into something like this, and then I'll select day trading restrictions, and then I'll have it blocked for 4 hours or however long. Since I had a win today, I don't want to go back in the afternoon. So I'll push start. I select that I want it on my phone and on my computer. So it blocks all the day trading websites, anything, restrictions, programs that I put on here. Hit start, and now it's blocked. So now I can focus on other things. When I try to go to it, it would block it to keep me off the charts. All right, folks, with that, use the code DTJ if you're looking to get an eval account. Take Profit Trader is the best one so far right now. Check it out. Or DTJ Academy if you're interested in joining the Purpose Driven Trader Academy and joining the Discord and joining our community. Other than that, guys, thanks for hanging out with me today. God bless. We will see you all tomorrow. Take care.